Hey, this is Jason at Conveyor, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can have your campaigns push people from one to another. So in this example, I'm going to show you one of our clients. They gave us permission to share their content, but this is a company in the UK, and they are recruiting what they call over in the UK brand ambassadors, or BAs. So here in the States, we call them reps, but they call them BAs. And so the BAs will go through a campaign in this very specific way. So let's look at their campaigns. What they have when they first onboard people is they have this Atlas Promotions. That's the name of the one company, Atlas Promotions Induction Training. They go through induction training, and then after they go through induction training, they will move to other systems that they have. So let's just briefly look at this. So they get introduced, and then at the very end of this, the people are added to the important documents. So this gives everyone an overview of their company, and then they're pushed over to important documents where they get their, the proof that they can work in the UK, that they have a passport, that they have a birth certificate if they don't have a passport, and whatnot. So they go over to this important docs, and they ask them these specific questions, and they process through that. Once they have done this, then these people, after they're all finished, this handles adding them to the basic sales system. So that's the next campaign. So they do it just daisy chain. They go from induction, pushed over to important docs. Once they finish important docs, they're pushed over to basic sales systems. Once they finish basic sales systems, then they are pushed over into advanced sales systems. And then from advanced sales systems, they're pushed to objection handles. And they do it all from one campaign to the next. So when we go into basic sales systems, you'll notice that there's this advanced add to advanced training. And what this is doing is it's looking for the completion of the very last lesson. So one final thing to note about this is that these pushes right here, what they're doing is they're looking for, again, the final lesson to be completed. Now, in this case, you have this lesson, and in order to set this up, you have to follow these parameters. So notice that this lesson is called Gifts. It's the very last one. And if we navigate over here to Learner Portal, you're going to see that they have the order locked. So what that means is that nobody can ever get to gifts down here at the bottom unless they've finished everything else, which means that if somebody finishes this campaign, or this lesson right here, then they have finished everything, and so they are then complete. And so what this add campaign is doing, or add to advanced training, and as is the case with all the other add to another campaign, what this is waiting for is the completion of the last lesson. So all it's doing, notice here it says completed basic training, the group name. And if we were to open this up, you would see that it is looking and searching for people who have completed the last lesson. So the important thing here is that if you go this route, you need to select your very last lesson and never add another lesson after it. Because if you add another lesson after it, then you're adding people to the next campaign will not catch those people who have the next lesson. So you need this specifically. Now, you can do this with workflows currently in Conveyor, but this is kind of how a lot of people do this with just straight inline content that's mandatory for people to go through. It's probably the easiest way to do it. One other thing that we can note is that you could do it with automations. If we went over here to automations, we could set up automations to add people to campaigns once they've completed other specific things. And so you can do it that way too, as you see that they do some of that as well here. And then you can also do a workflow where a workflow would push people over. But I think the simplest thing is probably just this, where you make one campaign, talk to the next one, talk to the next one, talk to the next one. So that's an overview of how to do this. We can catch this by doing it in those other ways. If you have questions about this, please just feel free to reach out to us at support@conveyor.com, or just mash this support button right there, and literally we will help you that fast. So thanks so much. Let us know if you have any questions. Cheers.